Okay, well, let me just start off by saying CTESPN has not yet climbed into our trusted list of sources. Let's put it that way. I repeat, before we start and begin this live stream, CTESPN, formed by Antonio Brown, which has called a couple big things. he has been on the money on a couple of things. He's also missed a lot. But this guy's wild, Antonio Brown. He created what's called the CTESPN to kind of clown on that network. And he's called a couple things. He really has. He's missed big on a few. But Antonio Brown is reporting. If he gets this right, he's in our top 10. He's in our top 10. What's crazy about this fairy tale, we're going to dive into fairy tale land. So buckle up. He is better than ESPN. Miguel says CTESPN is better than ESPN. It probably is more on the money than ESPN is. I would agree with that. He's definitely been more accurate than the weather. But again, prefacing, he's not a trusted source. I'm laughing the whole time. But he has nailed a couple things. And he's truly trying in clown format to make this network a popular thing. And his marketing is brilliant. I mean, his marketing is through the roof. I got to say. I mean, unless you hate, clowns, he's a total clown. Unless you hate a total clown, then... So, here's what Antonio Brown is saying, who, he's probably dialed into a few places. Hearing that a trade between Minnesota Vikings and Los Angeles Chargers is close to a blockbuster deal. The deal includes Herbert. The weird thing about this fairy tale rumor by Antonio Brown, again, head of CTESPN network, is we've been kicking around this idea for a long time. I don't know if he got this idea from our show, but it would be crazy. And we've talked about this. This is not like a crazy thing to fathom because of how high Harbaugh is on JJ McCarthy. And so what we've said for a long time now, and can I preface one more time? No one's acting like this is accurate news, but it's such an entertaining topic. I thought, why not? I'm sitting here. I got nothing to do right now. Let's go live and kick around the fairy tale idea. And so if someone's going to come in and get mad because we're talking about this thing, get out of here. No one wants you here anyway. Okay? You don't want to talk about smoke and potential crazy scenarios. This might not be the channel for you. Okay? Because I'm very clear up front what we're talking about here. The fact Double R says CTESPN is the truth. A lot of people love him. And in the comments of this tweet, I might remind you, if you read it, the comments are undefeated. They're like, if he gets this one right, he's on the trusted list. And somebody's like, okay, one more chance. I'll give this report one more try. But AB just, man, he is relevant right now. He is just in meme city. The marketing behind CTESPN is absolutely brilliant. I turned on my notifications for his content. 100%. It's entertaining to say the least. He trolls a lot, but he does try and break news. Like he gets this wrong, he's going to take a little bit of a hit in the PR department, in the trust department, because this is a pretty bold statement. But the crazy part about this fairy tale prediction by Antonio Brown, aka CTESPN, is that, and if anybody comes in here and complains about this live stream, the topic, whatever, tell them welcome to the channel. I guess this is your first time here. Let me show you around. Take care of it for me because I got to go into rant mode here. We've talked about how if Harbaugh loves JJM, and think about any coach that comes in and wants to like make the team their own. Has Harbaugh done one thing that makes a lot of sense that, comparatively to what we would do? If I handed Fitzy says CT ESPN is fire in capital letters. A lot of people love CT ESPN. Whether they're hitting stuff or not, they're a beloved network now. And that's why, we went live on this. First of all, has Harbaugh done one thing that seems logical to you or I? Answer that question honestly. Getting rid of Keenan Allen for almost nothing. Looking like you're maybe not using this 5 pick on a wide receiver. Looking like you're going to draft a lineman potentially with this pick. Not even discussing bringing in Barkley, Henry, or Jacobs when you are going to be one of the best running teams in the National Football League. Harbaugh loves Herbert over JJM. Why do you say that, Brian? What evidence do you have of that? This is the kind of guy, he brings in JK and Gus, very well-known guys to his family and tree, right? His brother's team, both running backs, JK and Gus Edwards from the Ravens over as his starting running backs. And then you think about this. This is something we kicked around a lot. Like if he loves, and he might just be pumping his guy up, because Harbaugh will say all the time, the best quarterback in this draft class is JJM. JJM is going to be amazing. JJM is the best quarterback. And then we think to ourselves, like, what if he just took him? What if he traded traded Herbert over to the Vikings for the 11 and the 23, maybe an additional pick? I don't know if you can garner another first rounder out of that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think 2 first rounders would do. 11 and 23 for the number 5. For Herbert. And then the number 5 you use on JJM. The 11, draft a lineman. There's a lot of linemen that he likes. There's a lot of linemen that fit the bill for 11. The guy you pick at 5 could potentially be there at 11 if you're going around Joe Alt. You want to fill a different actual position of need on the line, because Joe Alt is a crowded potential move. You're moving somebody if you draft him. So it makes sense to not take Joe Alt here. To some degree, you take JJM, you take your offensive lineman, you take a wide receiver. We've talked about this a ton. We've kicked this around a ton. I think it's something that I thought Harbaugh should consider, given how much he loves JJM. I don't love JJ McCarthy. I don't, but he does. If he loves him that much and he's not blowing smoke up people's rear end to just prop his boy up, it's a move he should do anyway. He's not going to even use Herbert. He's not going to even use Herbert to any degree that we would use Herbert. So send him to Minnesota. Let him throw footballs to Justin Jefferson and become a top 6, 7, 8 quarterback. Because that's what he could become. Herbert could go to the moon. To the moon.
To the moon.
If he's slinging the rock over to Justin Jefferson. So, I don't know if this has any legs. All I know is Antonio Brown's called a few big things, and he's missed some things hardcore. He's in the news business. And if anybody says, hey, Smitty, what about your earlier rant of, are you a journalist? Do you have any radio experience? Were you a player? He was a player. So we'll see how good of a journalist he can become. He's doing good things. By the way, CT ESPN Network has 87.9 thousand followers on Twitter, and it's I think it's brand new. Yeah, it started in January. So he's building it up. Antonio Brown running this thing. I don't know if he's actually running it or if he's just hired a guy or a guy approached him. I don't even know. But Antonio Brown is definitely behind this bad boy. Antonio Brown, 1.8 million followers. Obviously, he's potentially a little bit strange these days. and he plays off the CTE thing like crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we'll look into this, Antonio Brown. And what's weird is it's what I've been saying should happen. He's been if anybody wants to know why I went live on CT ESPN Breaking News, it's because this is what I've been saying should happen all along. I've been marching this out here saying, okay, and again, I don't believe JJM is anywhere on Herbert's level. Don't twist up what I'm saying whatsoever. Don't twist it up at all. I want Herbert 10 times out of 10 over JJM, but Harbaugh doesn't. And you know what Harbaugh doesn't do? He doesn't really lie. He's kind of a straight shooter. And if he comes out and says he could be the best quarterback in the NFL, he truly believes it. And Harbaugh's not going to use his quarterback like we would use Herbert. Harbaugh doesn't necessarily need his quarterback to do what Herbert's capable of doing. JJM can step right in and play football the way he wants immediately. And I've said this has been an idea that should be kicked around way more than we've heard anything about. So it is crazy to hear Antonio Brown come out and say this kind of thing that matches what your boy's been saying. Maybe this isn't a good sign. Maybe the fact that him and I think alike is not a good look for me. I might be heading on the wrong path. O'Brien, Obi-Jan Kenobi says, CT ESPN leading sports news network. Look, some people can... John says he violated like 20 rules. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like when he's having a conversation about what he's going to do, I believe he's not going to beat around the bush. He talked about offensive line. And when he's talking to the media, he's telling people, I think, what he really believes is a good fit for his team. I don't think he's trying to throw somebody in the wrong direction and toss a scent over here and get them off the course. He seems like the kind of guy that when he says, someone said, what do you want to do with the 5 pick? What's the most important pick in the draft? He's like, what pick does not tie into any other position, but every other position relies on it, offensive line. So I really do believe he wants to build from the trenches. If it wasn't true, he wouldn't be going after Gus Bus and J.K. Dobbins. He'd go get Barkley, Henry, and build the other way around. Thomas dropping a super chat on screen. Thomas, appreciate you. All super chats get immediate attention. Smitty, it's your boy Bay Area Thomas. Can't wait. Can I wait real late on QB and redraft? Roll the dice with Levis and Bryce Young, or I'm just high. I hope you're kidding on this. We've already gone over this a ton. That's the dumbest idea, Thomas. I hope you're joking. I think you're just playing off of the other person, or that was you maybe that asked me that question. But there's no reason anybody should ever go after Levis or Bryce Young as your starter, let alone both. Because this is the deepest QB pool we've ever seen in fantasy football ever. You have no business continuing to pass on the values that are presented to you just because you think you can get an even bigger value. Take the Joe Burrow in round 6-7. Take the AR5 in round 6. Take the Mahomes in round 5. Mahomes is going in round 5. There's no other reason to wait. You shouldn't hit all those roadblocks and continue to pass on a quarterback. Don't go toward the double-digit rounds. I don't care how deep it is. You're getting a potential number 1 overall fantasy scorer in Mahomes in the 5th round. You're getting a guy that could be 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll call it 3 to 5 in quarterback scoring in Joe Burrow in round 6 or 7. There's no reason to go that route. I don't know if that was you that asked me that question originally and you're repeating it, or if you're just playing off of that person's question. But yeah, somebody asked that the other day and I went off. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're talking about Levis and Bryce Young. Why would you even, those aren't even, maybe as a third quarterback, but why would you even be tempted to go down that road? At all. At all. I think you're kidding, Thomas. If you're not, you can call in. From
the Fantasy Football Show.
I apologize. If anybody would like to kick around this topic, please dial into the phone lines. The phone line number is on screen. I would love to have this conversation with anybody that will have it. If you want to have this conversation, I'm here to have the conversation. Let me move this over here. Why is that a question? Why would you roll the dice with Levis and Young? I don't know. You know when your mouth be getting dry, says Robert. Herbert would make JJ, Justin Jefferson, the number 1. Are we going to be that surprised if it's Herbert to JJ? I don't think I would be. Look, no one's saying that Antonio Brown's right here. Nobody's saying that. I didn't go live to tell. I have a smiley face in the title. Can we understand that this is me talking about something that significantly, is getting spread around with laughter, but like a little bit of wonderment, right? Everyone's wondering a little bit as to could this happen. Harbaugh's the one guy that would do this. He is. He's the one guy that wants a guy. He doesn't want the guy. He doesn't necessarily want neighbors. He wants a guy. And if you give Harbaugh 11 and 23, maybe a future first rounder for Herbert, and you get JJM at 5, you get your lineman that you kind of want here, but you don't want to take too early because you don't want to take Joe Alt necessarily. You do and you don't. You can move people around, but this 11 spot, now you get him there. And then you get this additional pick and a future first rounder. If you truly believe, and I'm not saying any of you do, I'm not saying any of you do believe this. I especially Brian in here. Brian's a Chargers fan. I don't think McCarthy stands a chance to be as good as Herbert. I don't. I really don't. But if you do believe that to be true, in Harbaugh 100% probably does. Why would you not take the lineman you would get here, swap your quarterbacks, really, with the way you look at this, right? You get your quarterback here, you get the lineman anyway. So if you don't swap quarterbacks, you're getting your lineman here, and you're not getting this pick, and you're getting your quarterback. So for Harbaugh, if he loves JJM as much, you get your quarterback here, you get your same lineman. The future first rounder and this pick are absolutely free to you. Do you know what I'm saying? If you truly believe, and I don't, I preface, I do not, but if Harbaugh truly believes JJM is as good, why would you not take the free 23 and future first rounder? Why would you not? I'm not asking what you would do. I'm saying if you're Harbaugh and you truly in your heart of hearts believe JJM is as good as Herbert, it will do the same thing. Why will you not take the free 23 overall pick and the free future first rounder? Why? Someone explain it to me. If you're coming from that angle. Alpha Pats fan, what's up, my guy?
What's up, Smitty? How's it going?
I mean, I'm good. I love talking about stuff like this, and I do my best to preface certain shows with, the expectation. I'm sure a bunch of people will watch this going, what is this guy doing on this fake news? Like, get out of here.
Man, I'm going to be honest, I love your show. You're so funny. It's hilarious. It's awesome. And it keeps me up to date with fantasy and everything.
I appreciate it.
I was going to ask you can grade another mock draft that I did.
I can barely hear you. I sent you to the moon, but I can barely hear you. The moon's hard to...
Let me adjust my mic.
Yeah, it's hard to hear people when they're on the moon.
Thank you, man. Love you.
Hold on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I was asking you if you can grade another team I mock drafted.
Yeah. Hey, hang tight. Let me go over to Travis real quick. I want to stay on topic for right now, if you don't mind. I'll come back to you, Alpha, and then we'll do that in a second. And when I come back to you in a second, let's try and talk about this topic for right now. Then we'll get back to your team. Travis, you're live. Travis, again, prefacing for every newbie in here. Yep. This isn't news, but it's something we've talked about on an extreme level here on the channel, this exact thing. And so it's very interesting to me. And I don't mind going live on anything. I could go live on, a play, when a player speeding and crashes, whatever, we go live. When Alvin Kamara's situation happened, we go live. This to me is like a tamed version of an extracurricular show. Yeah. But it's crazy because we've broken this down before. And again, I would love for somebody to call in and argue with me how it doesn't make sense to do this trade we've concocted for a long time now. This is, I feel like he watched our show or something because this is insane. But someone explain to me, if you're Harbaugh and you think JJM is equal to Herbert, instead of taking your lineman here, you take him here, you keep your quarterback because you're drafting JJM, you get a free 23 and potentially a future first rounder. I don't know if Herbert would go for 3 first rounders. He could.
Well, that's kind of what I called about.
It could.
Was
at least the two.
Something I had heard kicking around. Well, first of all, this is a good opportunity for CT ESPN to get some more credibility. It's a good test for him. But when it comes to the trade, they were actually talking about with the Patriots, if they made a trade swap with the Vikings, I guess they're talking about the Patriots want a player back too, and they were saying how JJ's not, likely, but a guy like Christian Darrisaw, who's, not the best lineman, but a very solid one, a good one.
Hey, Travis, Travis,
willing to move.
Travis, hang up and call back. You got a broken connection, kind of. Let's see if we can get you back on. Just hang up and call right back if you could. Let me go over to Dawson real quick. Dawson, you're live. I'm sorry to skip you, Alpha, but no offense, but there's a little bit of a, I love you, pal. I love you. You said you love the show. I sent you to the moon. You know how much you mean to me, okay? But a little bit of a selfish call. Let me go back to Alpha real quick. Alpha, a little bit of a selfish call. We're in the middle of CT ESPN breaking news, and you want us to grade your mock draft.
I can talk about that.
But you want us to grade your little mocky poo. And I just don't feel like it, to be honest with you. Okay.
No,
so
you don't have to. You
okay,
don't want to.
Alpha. Real quickly, tell me what you think about this CT ESPN report.
I think Antonio Brown just wants attention. I don't take it seriously one bit. And yeah, I wouldn't take it seriously, honestly.
Well, we're not taking it seriously, or are we?
Right.
We kind of are not, kind of are.
Right.
He's called. Let me look up all the things he's landed, and I don't remember exactly all of them off the top of my head. He's landed a couple things. What has CTESPN landed? There's got to be people that are keeping track of this. If CT ESPN were right, we'd have both Justin Jefferson and Brandon Ayuk by now. It's just one report.
There's no way people are actually going to believe that. Come on.
Look, Alpha, you need to relax a little bit. This is a guy, Antonio Brown, he's partly trolling the world by calling his network CTE SPN. Okay, so first of all, relax a little bit. Relax a little bit. Kick your feet up. Enjoy the show. But he really legitimately is trying to land these to build the brand. Like, if he misses on everything, he's gone. No one's going to take him seriously. There are enough lands that people are 80% laughing, like they enjoy it, but then they'll drop this is the truth, this is still more accurate than ESPN. And that, people will come out, people are wanting this thing to be true. But the weird part is, Alpha, this is the exact trade that we were talking about potentially happening. And so when I saw this come across my Twitter, I said to myself, is this one of my tweets? What is this? when you see a photo of yourself or a video of yourself, and you're like, wait a minute, is that me? I literally thought I was looking at one of my own things that I've written up or something, because this is what I think he should do. And just to clarify, right, I do not think JJ McCarthy is on the same level as Herbert at all. So for every Charger fan out there that thinks I want this for the Chargers, I don't. But if Harbaugh does, in fact, if he's true to his word, think JJ McCarthy could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he's by far and away the best quarterback in this draft class. And let me say this, I would draft JD5 over Herbert if you threw Herbert into this player pool.
Wow.
That's how much I love JD5. And I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I know you love him.
I really don't. No one has to.
I'm still surprised, but not too surprised.
No one has to JD explain me, okay? JD5 over Herbert all day long. Herbert hasn't developed into what? Look, how long has he been in the league, bro? He hasn't become the player yet that he's supposed to become. Was he failed by coaching? Yes, but so was Fields. And everybody's given up on Fields without any sort of expectation of getting better. So let's all be honest with Herbert for a second. Herbert, you've stunk it up. And Herbert, you have not delivered. time and time and time again. So at some point,
I'd say Herbert is top 8. That's like the safe.
Okay, but at the end of the day, don't say wow, or when I say JD5 over Herbert, what's Herbert done to earn that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, he had one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, and he's been pretty good. Like, he hasn't been the best, but he's been pretty good.
Okay, and I like Herbert. But I want Herbert to go somewhere where he can get unlocked and developed. If he goes to Minnesota, Herbert's going to the moon.
To the moon.
Okay? This is in fairy tale land. I get that. We're not in normal, everyday planet Earth right now. We're in fairy tale world. So get over the Spider-Verse, crossover, cross streams. Don't be careful as you do it. Cross streams. You get over into the Spider-Verse, and we're going to talk about this for a second. But if you keep Herbert in this Harbaugh system, he's going to be dog crap. I'm sorry. If you're a Charger fan, you're going to get, you know when they say you use 10% of your brain? This is like using 10% of Herbert's skill set. And the problem with that isn't that he's going to keep it dormant, wait, maybe he gets traded somewhere. He's going to not develop, bro. He's going to stop growing. He's going to stop growing. It's like a kid lifting weights at 8 years old. Eventually, he ruins his ability to grow anymore, and he stunts his growth. You ever heard that? So the same thing. You put Herbert in a place where he can't utilize any of his skills. He'll stop growing. He'll stop maturing. He's teeter-tottering like Fields. Fields is broken. Justin Fields may never get fixed. I believe he does, but he may never get fixed. Thank God he got out of Chicago, because that was breaking him. Regardless, he's been busting. I'm not trying to deny that Fields has been a bust, but he's been a bust because of the team. I'm also not denying that Herbert's been kind of a letdown, but it's been due to his revolving door of a coaching staff, coordinator, team evolving, offense changing system, right? That's not his fault, but it is what it is. He's developed none. They haven't developed him at all. They keep changing everything on him, and now he gets now like a go-kart at the go-kart track that has a governor on it that only allows it to go 50% of the speed. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when I go to the go-kart track as a kid, there's a spring, and the pedal goes on the spring. It's like a bolt, and the bolt pushes the gas pedal. The gas pedal is really this bolt, and it's on a coil or a spring. So what they do is they take the gas pedal and they put the gas pedal down about halfway and bolt it to the side of the spring. So when you put the gas pedal down, the car would only go half the speed. But if you were smart, you put your foot on the actual like bolt, and you could push the bolt down, and you could make the car go 100% speed. We would always get kicked out of every go-kart place we went to until they tried to change that. Herbert's going to be like that governor. You're basically going to have this gas pedal's the actual bolt, and Harbaugh is going to put that gas pedal right here. You're never going to see Herbert delivering at anything more than 50% of his ability, capacity, and he'll never mature. Get him out of the Chargers situation, put him in Minnesota. He'll flourish, he'll grow, he'll prosper, he'll throw for 5,000 yards. He'll give JJ every opportunity to be as good as he ever was, number 1, number 2 overall player for the rest of the time. So hold on, Alpha. Let me come back to you in a second. Let me go back to Travis, who was talking. And Travis, tell me what you think of this situation. Again, we're not stupid. We know CT ESPN has a lot to prove before they become a trusted source across the industry. we realize that. But he has kind of nailed some things and missed some things, of course. But people love him. People love AB. They love what he's doing. They love his product.
Yeah. Is my connection better? Can you hear me better?
Much better.
Okay. I was just saying that I had been hearing more so with the Patriots, but the possibility that the Vikings would be willing to give up Christian Darrisaw, their lineman, in a deal, and so that would make even more sense with the Chargers. I know we're just kind of kicking things around, but if they were to get 2 picks and a lineman, then they could potentially even draft a wide receiver if they got that lineman as well. I know it's unlikely, but like you said, I want to see Herbert out of that situation, because I personally, I think I'm a little higher on Herbert than you are, and I don't think he's done quite as bad. He's not lived up 100% to what he could or should do. But my bigger fear, and maybe this is what you mean, my bigger fear is what will happen in the Harbaugh system, how much he'll be dumbed down or, stripped away from what his talents are.
Yeah, if anybody thinks that Herbert's going to be able to be even remotely close to himself, this would be equivalent to, like, I'm just trying to think of so many examples to give you guys, but like, let's say I got acquired by ESPN, which I'm not going to do, which I don't care. Maybe CT ESPN. Maybe I report for them. But everyone thinks that's my end game, my goal. I don't want that. The only thing I would accept from ESPN is a buyout that was so big that I could retire from that buyout, never work a day in my life, and if they said, you got to come work for us for a couple of years. To be honest with you, people can call me a sellout all I want, but if they offer me $15 million to buy me out or to come over, I would do it. And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't come back after 2 or 3 years and then just run this channel and not worry about a dime and just try and just create fun and grow the thing, that way with a different mindset, no fear, no, you know what I mean? Like when you're running a business, you're always thinking about this, you're thinking about that. But my end goal is to just do what I'm doing. Like I can become bigger than ESPN. I'm not necessarily trying to be egotistical and say it's going to happen. The fantasy space is huge. Like I could get as big as I ever need to get. And I don't necessarily need to have 10 million subscribers, but we could have a 1 million subscriber channel that outperforms the ESPN YouTube channel. Like, so, in the viewership on ESPN, I bet you'd be shocked at how much lower it is than you thought comparative to like a Mr. Beast channel on YouTube or whatever. So my end game is not to go to ESPN, but let's say ESPN, so I was trying to give you an example. Let's say ESPN acquired me. Do you remember when Mike Florio got acquired by NBC? You didn't even see him. Like for a long time, you never saw him. You're barely seeing him now. He's starting to come back out. He's doing a lot of more videos. But like Mike Florio was bought, his company, what was it called? When he had it and it got bought, it was called
Pro Football Focus.
Yeah, Pro Football Talk. Pro Football Talk. It was Pro Football Talk.
Okay. Yeah, Talk. Yeah.
And then Florio, so Florio then got rid of his website. It directed over to ESPN, and then he vanished. They barely used him. They bought him. They paid him all this money. They barely used him. I feel like that's what Herbert is. I feel like Herbert is in this situation. You've got so much potential. Everybody thinks it's great, right? Harbaugh's coming over. Everybody thinks, Smitty going to ESPN would be great. They might use me once every month. You might never see my show ever again. Nobody should want that. Nobody should want Herbert going to a situation where they're just going to bury him. He's not going to do near what he could do if he was in an opened up offense that isn't going to try and run the ball, build from the trenches, get rid of Keenan Allen, bring in DJ Chark. Who was the other one they brought? I'm blanking. Did they bring in another wide receiver to work out today or yesterday? I forget what it was. DJ Chark. They brought in J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards for the run game, two of the worst running backs you could possibly bring in. Gus Edwards was one of the worst running backs in the National Football League last year. He did get double-digit touchdowns and things of that nature, but he was absolutely garbage for the majority of the season. There's almost James Cook and Gus Edwards were the two most inefficient running backs in the National Football League. J.K. Dobbins is coming back from a torn Achilles tendon, which never works out. And he also has an ACL. This is an all ACL team. Gus Edwards ACL. Not that you can't come back from an ACL, but this is the all ACL and added Achilles. This is every single move he's made has been limiting Herbert. Bring in Jacobs, Herbert's value goes up. Bring in J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, Herbert's value goes down. Get rid of Keenan Allen, Herbert's value goes down. Talk about linemen at number 5 overall, Herbert's value goes down. They have to draft Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr. or Adunze at 5, or Herbert is going to tank. There's just no one there. Chark, he wants a guy. He doesn't want the guy. He wants a guy. and he prefers just a guy versus the guy. He actually wants just a normal guy. He just wants a normal body in that position at wide receiver.
Perfect for him.
Normal guy, normal guy, normal guy. I don't want neighbors. I don't need a Dunze. I don't need Martin Harrison Jr. I need the trenches, which I'm not saying it can't win, but it's garbage. Perps, you out of here, Perps?
Herbert.
Perps, you can call in before you go if you want. You don't have to. I don't know if Perps is. Let me see what Perps has been saying. JD5 is the number 1 overall QB. Damn straight. Damn straight. Damn straight. Perps. It's football news, needs to be talked about. No one said it was a done deal. Hit the thumb up button. Fake news. Peddling Smitty. Alpha Pats fan. Travis, I thought you were the big eggplant for the Patriots. I don't know what Perps is going. Perps is going off the rails here. Perps, call in if you want. If not, good night, pal. Appreciate you. Okay.
Herbert said, is Alpha Pats fan like white sunglasses or lift truck syndrome? What? What are you talking about?
I don't know what he's saying. All right, hey, Adam from Denver. I'll come back to you, Alpha. Adam from Denver, you're live.
Hey, just calling in because I saw this and would not be a fan of it as a Broncos fan.
Yeah.
You know, Chargers have a lot of holes they need to fill, so I think they could get a decent amount of picks for Herbert, and that would just help them in the future. And, you know, like you said, if he sticks in L.A. with Harbaugh, you know, probably not going to be great because they're not going to get what he needs. You know, as a Broncos fan, that brings me a lot of solace.
Yeah, I think what you got to consider is that this trade would actually, if it were to happen, Ninja says, Smitty, you my guy, but you're jumping the gun, LOL. Welcome, you must be new. You must be new. I can't be your guy or you'd understand. I swear. I know I shouldn't comment to the troll comments like that, but I just can't help it. I can't. I don't not like commenting to it, but it's like you can't even prep people enough. They just come in and they don't know what they're saying. I'm sorry. You said you're my guy, but you clearly aren't. You clearly don't know.
It's like they didn't listen to the very beginning of the show where you explained it all.
I explained it all. There's a crying emoji in the title. What more do you want? What more do you want? And for the comments, like even Brian, no offense, Brian, but that's a dumb comment too. Slow season. I think you're referring to slow news season, or slow season. You might be saying for the Chargers, maybe. Maybe I stand corrected. Maybe that wasn't directed toward me. The slow news season. Why do I have to come out here? You don't have to be here. I'm not saying you, Brian, but anybody that thinks that this topic shouldn't even be talked about, even for fun, even if you follow this channel and you know that we've kicked around this exact idea, so it's fun to talk about, then no one's asking you to be here. You don't have to watch. You really don't. Someone said Pro Football Focus. I don't want to go to Pro Football. Look, we're going to be bigger than Pro Football Focus. We're going to be bigger than PFF. We're going to be bigger than ESPN. And we don't even necessarily have to be bigger in certain aspects. In terms of, for me, it's viewership. We could have bigger viewership than any of those. Those guys don't acquire your boy. Your boy someday acquires them. Okay, so calm down in the chat. What were we talking about? For Brian and whoever the hell that was interrupted me. What were we saying? What was it, Adam?
How that would benefit.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How I would be happy if.
Yeah. So Adam, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, if you're just tuning in, then why are you saying I'm jumping the gun? You haven't even listened to anything. What are you talking about, Ninja? You're just digging your hole deeper. It's okay, pal. Brofist reset. But like, you can't say you just tuned in. Then don't say your boy's jumping the gun. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. This move, if it was to be made to happen in Fairy Tale Land, if we're like right now we're in the Spider-Verse, if we were to cross back over to the real world and we could get it done, we could execute this trade. The Chargers actually get better. like as who am I talking about? Adam. As Adam said, the Chargers actually get better. Why? Because they're not using Herbert anyway to the degree that Herbert could be used. It's kind of like saying, I'm going to play Herbert like he's QB 15 and run the damn ball, rotate these running backs, win with defense, win with draining the clock, running the clock out. He can get what he needs to get out of JJM, and I don't know that we'd ever see JJM better than Herbert could be in Minnesota, obviously, right? But we would see Herbert in LAC be exactly as good as JJM in LAC because you're only using him so much. So if you can replace Herbert with the type of quarterback that Harbaugh is going to need and use and get out of his quarterback, then you get the 11 pick to get your offensive lineman. You get 23 to do whatever you want with. We'd take Brian Thomas Jr. if he fell, or Keon Coleman, or someone like that. I could see Keon Coleman replacing Keenan Allen for some reason. I don't know why I can picture that, but
Yeah,
you send the 11 and 23 and a future first rounder for JJM, and they still get their guy instead of at 5, but at 11, the team gets better. As Adam said, the team gets better, the future gets better, everything gets better. It's a fantastic trade if it was actually real. And as for the Minnesota Vikings, you can't get what you get out of Herbert using the 11 and 23. Unless you take Penix Jr. and he becomes what I think he could become. But I do believe if it was me, I'd rather have Herbert because you know what he's capable of if you get him in the right spot. But again, Herbert in LAC with Harbaugh is going to be wasted. It's like using 5% of your brain when you could go somewhere else and use 100. It literally is that simple. Herbert's not going to be unlocked in LAC. He's going to be held back.
Plus, we can't have 3 AFC West teams that need a quarterback.
I don't know. Who else was on the phone? Like Dawson? Dawson hung up.
Yeah, it was Smitty.
Yeah. Who's this? Alpha?
Yeah. You said that you would make that move as you think that's what Harbaugh would do, or you're saying that that's something you would do as a GM of the Chargers?
This is what Antonio Brown is saying is getting cooked up right now. Right. I mean, he didn't give us the draft pick scenario exactly, but he's saying right here, hearing a trade between the Minnesota Vikings and Los Angeles Chargers is close to being a deal getting done, blockbuster deal. The deal includes Justin Herbert. And again, anybody tuning in before they start typing into the keyboard saying, what are you doing with this fake news? Here's Smitty again with fake news. I preface this thing as much as I can. It's up to you whether you've heard it all. That's all. I can't help.
I mean, it's pretty clear. I
can't help you past. Yeah, I can't help you. I can't help anybody past this point. Like you got to learn on your own. You got to fly on your own. At some point, I can't hold everyone's hand all of the time. Where's my?
You raise me up so I can stand on mountains.
It's time for you to fly on your own, young butterflies. Smitty, what's the definition of unlocked? Ninja wants to know. Well, Herbert is probably, I don't know, is he a 27 touchdown guy in LAC? Like, is that fair? Like 26, 27 touchdowns, 4,000 yards. I mean, I don't know, 4,200, 4,400 yards.
Because that's the problem, because a truly unlocked Herbert should be 4,000 yards easy with 35 to 40 touchdowns.
Yeah, like unlocked is what 5,000. So like in Minnesota, he's 5,000 yards probably 5,000 yards.
Yeah,
5,000 yards.
Yeah, JJ and Addison.
Like a disappointing year would be 35, 37 touchdowns probably. With the shorter field, probably 40 plus easy.
I think it would be incredibly stupid from the Chargers as they make that trade, but
why?
Who knows?
Why though?
Absolute.
Why? Well, after what I just mapped out. I mean, you're getting a quarterback.
I understood everything you say, and I'm aware that they wouldn't maximize his potential. But I still think you're not going to win if you don't have someone like Herbert at the helm. I mean, I don't think the running game is going to be enough to support that offense.
Yeah, I don't know that I disagree that at the end of the day, JJM's not the same quarterback at all. I'm not saying that at all. But the fact that he's going to use, like, here's the one thing you could say, though. Like, don't you think JJM's going to have zero learning curve? Like, literally zero. He's going to walk into Harbaugh's system. No Harbaugh's. Like, this is going to be a college football system. I mean, it's going to be like nothing ever changed. He's going to walk in. He'll look very efficient, too. Like, he'll be very efficient. He'll be very clean. He'll be able to, execute everything perfectly to Harbaugh's demand. If anything, I think he probably would play better in Harbaugh's system than Herbert would initially. And so I agree with you that it could fail, but in Harbaugh's mind, if you're going to waste away Herbert anyway, why not make the trade and at least try? That's all I'm going to say.
That's why I asked you, is this something that Harbaugh would do or something that you would do as a GM? That's why I asked you.
If I was a GM, this is going to sound like, I don't think people are going to like this answer because people are going to go, he won in San Francisco. He's so good in college. If I was the GM or the decision maker, I wouldn't have hired Harbaugh.
I agree.
And I know people are not going to like that answer because he's been so successful, but just because a guy's been good somewhere doesn't mean he's the right fit here. And he's already proving to do everything opposite of what I do. So if you're asking me, I wouldn't hire Harbaugh. If it was me, I'd bring in somebody like Zach Robinson, who put together one of the most potent offenses we've seen in years over in Los Angeles last year with the Rams. And I would bring in an absolute force like Raheem Morris. I would have brought in that tandem like Atlanta brought in, and I would have been living it up. Because Raheem Morris could be the defensive coordinator. He could be the offensive coordinator. He could be the QB coach, the tight end coach, the wide receiver coach. People just think he's a defensive-minded guy only because that's what he was doing last year. But this team has said 1,000%. McVay to the brass, to every teammate that went to bat for him to get him the job. Like, people went to bat for him and said, hire him. Like, I hate to tell you this, but hire Raheem Morris. He's the best man for the job, and he's going to blow everybody away. And then they bring in Zach Robinson, and so you got the QB coordinator in the Rams offense last year coming over to be OC in Atlanta. You got Raheem Morris, the defensive guy, coming over to be head coach in Atlanta, and you have the best duo, almost like two head coaches running the system. And that's what I would have done. That's what I would have done in LAC. I would not have brought in Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not going to use Herbert to his potential. That's why I do want him to get traded. That's why I've cooked up this trade for months. What?
I said Zach Robinson was the key hire, in my opinion. I mean, Raheem Morris was also a great hire, but I mean, Zach Robinson, that's a home run, in my opinion.
Just a little every 10-minute refresh reminder to everybody that we understand that this is not actual news. We understand that CT ESPN has a ways to go before earning our trust. But
someone said Raheem Morris is Garbo.
Well, they don't. Whoever said that, no offense, I don't know who said it, but that was a silly thing to say. That was a very silly thing to put out there on record. That was not. Who said that? Al Bundy.
Al Bundy.
Are you sure about that, Al Bundy? You sure you want this on the planet Uranus? It's your call.
And off he goes to the planet known as Uranus.
It's your call. It's your choice, my guy. Appreciate you. At least you're getting into space. You know, even if you're going to Uranus, it's okay. Hot take. Sean Payton trades picks for Herbert. The reason why I think that can't happen is that
dead cat.
Well, no, but like, okay, so let's just say, let's say Minnesota, or I'm sorry, let's say Denver swaps this. You're talking about the 12 future, like it's not enough. Like Minnesota could get it done because it's 11, 23 in a future first, but like you're asking them to just move down to get the linemen, and I don't know. I mean, it depends on what else you're adding to it, but I don't think that would be something that it's interesting.
Plus, they're trading in division too. Like,
yeah, I don't see that happening.
There's something to say
the
about
last thing we want to see is Denver get a hold of Herbert and do well with him.
It's a hot take, though. I appreciate any hot take or why. I mean, here's a guy I'm saying no to while I'm live on CT ESPN's breaking news. So I mean, Lolo, you got me. Lolo's doing it live. Who dat Lolo? Travis, you were saying something?
I was going to say with the whole Broncos thing, there's something to be said about the quarterback fit for Peyton. Like, Russell Wilson is a guy that pushes the ball downfield and kind of runs around and makes things happen. And that doesn't really fit with the Sean Payton offense, who is more like a horizontal offense, quick check downs and line of scrimmage stuff, and that's why like a Bo Nix would probably even fit his system better than a Penix would, if we're talking about guys that might be at that 12 spot or wherever they're drafting. Like, he's pretty specific in the type of quarterback he likes. I'm not saying Herbert couldn't do that there, but that's just something to keep in mind, because I know a lot of people are trying to put a lot of different quarterbacks in Denver, but and the question is, Peyton washed up, or can he do it again?
Yeah.
Nah, Peyton still has it in him. You got to remember, we were 1-5 to start the season. Absolutely, yeah. Unfortunately, so.
Travis. He's a Denver fan. He's going to believe in Sean Payton no matter what.
Well, I will give him credit. He got the offensive line is a lot better, and it seems like he's trying to move things in the direction of his style of play and stuff. But another question I have is his usage of how he used Javonte Williams too. And now maybe Javonte just won't have it anymore, but the whole committee back thing was weird after he was like.
Yeah.
I think it was less of him thinking Javonte Williams didn't have it, and more so, like, as somebody who went to a couple of the games in person, Jaleel McLaughlin, he's got some moves to him. So I don't think it was more so. It's Javonte coming back his year after injury with a healthy, explosive rookie running back that can take a hit, Why, and especially
this year,
it seems like they knew they didn't want Russell Wilson next year early in the season.
I'll just say this, bro. I don't think I think I agree with Matto. I think Bo Nix, not trading and just drafting Bo Nix makes a lot of sense. It makes the most sense. I think Bo Nix is super underrated, and he's probably likely to fall to 12. So if I'm Denver, that's the move I'm making, because I think he could arguably be QB2. I like Penix Jr. more, but I very, very much could get behind Bo Nix in the right spot. I don't know that this is the right spot, but I think it's a good spot for him to try and develop in, and then you bring other talent around him. I don't like your wide receiver crew at all. I think you've got to get him some pass catchers, but maybe you figure that out. I don't think any of the wide receivers currently there will be there 2-3 years from now at all. So I think you clean house, bring in some new talent. The second round is going to be loaded with wide receivers. You might even get Ricky Parasol, someone like that. But Denver getting Nix is Mims is his guy. He likes Mims. That guy will be there. But Denver's got a lot of work to do. Nix would be a great fit. Penix Jr. or Nix in Minnesota would be great. And New York might take one of those guys themselves. We'll see. But Chargers back on topic. I don't want to go. I don't want to go Denver. This is we're going to derail this topic, but I'll just say that Denver's got a lot of work cut out for them. They're not winning much in the coming year, at least. You guys got a lot of work.
Drake May to the Patriots.
Drake, maybe, yeah. He seems like he's gonna end up in New England. I think we did the whole, what does it all mean, in terms of the JD5 news today, and I think the lines moved. There's the likelihood of Drake May getting drafted number 2 overall has increased a little bit, but it's still in favor of JD5 going number 2 overall. But I don't buy into the notion that JD5 soured on Washington. I think people are crazy. I think that everybody's trying to.
Drake May is the next Justin Herbert. Just saying.
Well, that's not very good, is it?
Funny.
Like I don't want the next Justin Herbert. What maybe Justin Herbert could have been, or still could maybe be, but like.
Hey man, as a Patriots fan, I would take it.
I know. I'm just saying when people say he's the next Herbert, like what does that mean? What's that even mean? Most underperforming quarterback that has the most talent that never gets utilized? I mean, I don't know. He's got Herbert's skill set for sure.
Talking, like, from,
skill set.
Not like from the success.
Yeah, but even that we need to see it develop. Like we haven't seen it, so we don't know what it is. But I think his skill set's pretty good. I think you put Herbert in Minnesota, you save him. You keep him in LAC, he's gonna get ruined. And I don't know that he's gonna like bust out of the league, but he's not gonna develop. He's gonna stop developing. He's just going to stop developing. He's not going to ever get unlocked. And before you know it, he's going to be used to this mundane system that might win, might not. I'm not saying it fails, but it's certainly not going to utilize. This is like asking somebody to go use half of their creativity at a job. He's eventually just going to be like, he doesn't even get to play football. It's going to be a lot of Michigan football. What you could say, JJ McCarthy had a great time, but I'm just saying like Herbert's meant to gunsling. And he's not going to be able to do that in this situation. Get him in Minnesota. I think that'd be great. We talked about this a lot. What?
We didn't see much of JJ in Michigan to have like a proper conclusion of a proper evaluation of what he's going to be in the next level.
Why do you think I'm not super high on him? I don't know what he's going to be. I'm not ruling it out that he could be good, but he hasn't proven enough to me to be buying into this hype of JJM. Let's go to Adam. Adam, what's up, Adam?
Back to me?
Yeah, did you have anything else?
No, that was it.
All right.
Just sticking around.
All right. Adam and Alpha, I'm going to let you drop. Call back in later. If you got another question, you can call back in. Alpha, real quickly, hit me with your team. Be as quick as you can. Quick as you can.
Okay.
All right. See you later, Alpha. Appreciate you.
Wait.
I don't know what to do. At this point, it's like, you got to move on. You got to Alpha, call in again tomorrow, and I'll review your team. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, again, for anybody watching, this is not breaking news to any degree. It's merely, it's merely something we concocted a while ago, and it's interesting to hear Antonio Brown, He's trying to become a well-known news network, even if he's trolling the hell out of people left and right. He is truly, truly trying to land this stuff. And if he misses on this, it's not going to be good for the reliability factor, and then people will just accept him as 100% troll. But he's trying, and you just wonder, he's hit a couple things. Let me find a list of things he's hit and missed on. He said Ayuk's going to, maybe get. And another thing too, real quickly, if let's say his rumors of Ayuk potentially, trade talks between the Steelers and Ayuk, if I feel like he said something about that. Even if something doesn't happen, doesn't mean it wasn't potentially talked about or something, just to put that out there. If anybody feels like they somebody says, oh, this trade's going to happen. For example, and a lot of people made up stuff during the old Deshaun Watson to the Falcons. Remember that? And it almost went down. And a lot of people just made it up. They're like, he's going to the Falcons by tonight. And then he wouldn't. And then they lost credibility. And somebody would be like, he's getting traded to the Falcons within 48 hours, according to my source. And people are just trying to grow on Twitter and everything. And anybody that actually had that information would have looked like they were wrong, because he went to to Cleveland in the 11th hour, but it was really like a last-second, maneuver that got Deshaun Watson into the Cleveland situation and out of the Falcons. So sometimes people miss on something that they really do. And I'm not saying Antonio Brown has good information, but sometimes people miss on something and they hold on a second. Yeah, Alpha, do you need something else? Did you need something else,
Smitty.
Alpha? Yeah, do you need something else?
I got the team. I didn't hear you. My call cut off.
Oh, God. All right, real quickly, bro. Real quickly.
All right. CJ Stroud, Jonathan Taylor,
He wants me to evaluate his
Amir
mock
White.
draft.
Amon-Ra St. Brown,
Woo!
Drake London,
I'm writing this down.
Jake Ferguson, Jalen Waddle, Tank Dell, Jonathan Brooks, Chase Brown, Jaleel McLaughlin, Deontay Johnson, Dontavian Wicks, and Kirk Cousins.
Okay, I think I got it all. That's good, bro. I like it.
Thank you. Grade, how far am I going to make it?
Travis, did you hear all that? Give him a grade.
Yeah.
I just saw that you didn't write down anything. Oh my God, man. Did I go
Hey.
too fast? I'm like,
Read off your top 6 guys one more time and let me try and digest it for real. Your top 6 guys go. I don't know if I'm ready for the season. I can't retain anything right now. Go ahead. Top
All
6
right.
guys.
CJ Stroud,
Stroud, got it.
Jonathan Taylor,
Good.
Samir White,
Little faster. Okay, good. Taylor White.
St. Brown,
St. Brown. Okay. CJ, St.
London.
Brown, Taylor White. Go.
Ferguson,
Okay.
Waddle,
Good. All right.
Tank Dell.
It's good. It's good. I give that a C plus to a B minus. I'm not gonna give you an A on that. But it's
Come
it's
on,
good. I
man.
mean, what do you want?
Top grade.
What do you want me to say? I'd say B minus. We'll give it a B minus. So you got Zamir White, JT,
Give me an A minus. Come on.
St.
A
Brown, Tank Dell, Stroud.
I gave him
I
an
like
A
it. That's
minus.
good. That's good. I'm not gonna give it an A. I'll give it a B minus.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks for the A minus.
I'll give it a B minus. I can't give that an A. An A is like you got things you shouldn't have got. Like you got Mahomes in round 5.
All right.
Like okay, I'll do this. Dang it. Hold on. All right. Read off your top 6 round picks, bro. Top 6 rounds in order. In order, bro.
All right.
You want me to evaluate
it.
this? You're going to get it. You're going to get it. You asked for it. Here it comes. Go ahead. First pick is what? St. Brown?
St. Brown,
Okay.
JT,
Okay, JT. So far you're on
London.
you're on course, right? You got a first rounder, you got a second rounder. You're doing good. London,
All right.
he's going around.
London.
He's going in round 2, but I like that you got him at least at 3rd round value. Go ahead.
Jalen Waddle,
This is where I'm like, did you draft him in the 4th round? This is where I'm like, who is there? Because I don't love Waddle there. I like Waddle. He's more of a 5th rounder.
Waddle.
You what'd you say, Travis?
I'm not huge on him. I'm always weary of him. I have hope for him, but I'm weary.
Next pick is Stroud.
next pick is Stroud, yeah.
Okay, next pick.
Then we got Tank Dell.
How'd you get Dell here?
See, that's where
dropped there.
Waddle should be, and Dell should be where Waddle is, in my mind.
And then Samir White.
So
at
it
round
kinda worked.
7.
I'll be honest. I didn't hear him say London the first time, so it's looking nicer.
Oh, okay.
Did he say London?
I did say
Yeah,
London,
he said London.
Okay, I don't know how you got Dell here, bro. I don't know how you got Dell. Who'd you mock draft with? Where?
This is a 10-team mock draft. This 10 teams.
Okay, 10.
Not 12.
Okay, there we go. But I mean, still, Dell's a good
And
value
it's a-
there. That's still a really good value there. But now I'm giving you a B minus for sure. I was about to upgrade it to like a B plus, but 10 team, you should have. This is why London fell. Waddles, I think even further down for me than that. Stroud, I like that. Dell shouldn't be here. I don't know. Some platforms he might be falling, and other platforms he's going in the top of round 4, bro. I would say
he's
in a
going
10,
as wide receiver 25.
in a 10, well, not on good platforms, but I would say 10. You know, an underdog he's going at like,
Underdog, he's going wide receiver 25 though. An underdog.
Underdog he's going in the top of round 4.
Let's see.
I'm gonna call cap on this.
No, he's wide receiver
No,
25.
wide receiver 25.
Did he drop?
ADP 38.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
wide
well,
receiver 25
that's
right
because
now.
underdog, but he's still top of round 4. That's because underdog's all wide receiver. People draft heavy wide receiver. But he is going at the top of round 4, like 4.2, 4.3, right? So he's going for
Yeah.
But that does make sense though on underdog because of how they're. But he's still going. So this obviously isn't wide receiver heavy wherever it is. But regardless, it's a good team, bro. I mean, you got Dell, St. Brown, London. That's fantastic. You got JT. Your running back 2, Zamir, right? Zamir White.
Yeah,
right?
it's Amir White.
So I mean, because you didn't trip and fall into a Henry, or something, this would be what turns you into an A, bro. That would turn you into an A. And a 10-teamer Henry could fall to round 4. That's where you smash the hell out of it. But you're still a good
So
team.
you say that I should take Henry over Waddle? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, who'd you get in round 4? Waddle? And then who'd you get in round 5?
Yeah, Waddle.
Stroud?
Round 5, Stroud.
Okay, so I guess I have this. So you went Waddle, Stroud, and Dell.
Could you have gotten like McBride in round 4?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, hey.
Not that you knew Dell would fall that far, but.
All right, wait. Hey, losing connection here. Shh, Alpha. Shh. I love you, pal. We'll see you later.
I'm still here. All right, take care, man. Bye.
All right. I'm just not in draft mode right now, especially evaluating mock drafts. No offense, Alpha, but like I can't evaluate every mock draft you got. But I did it for you because you're my boy, Blue, and we did it live. I mean, some people are like in the chat. They're like, evaluate my mock draft. But he's just wanting strategy, so it was a good one to look at, and it brought some awareness that Tank Dell and a 10-team, maybe ESPN draft might be going a lot later. So that's interesting, an interesting nugget. But yeah, I mean, Zamir White I do love, but if you're going to go Zamir White as your running back 2, you definitely want to make sure you get like another Zamir White with him. You want to have 2 or 3 of the rookie running backs and Zamir White, then you're kind of set. But I do love Zamir White. All right. Anything else, Travis? Anything else on this topic? This crazy, wild.
Yeah. The only other thing I was going to say is, in terms of like, people could end up saying, "Oh, this shoot it down," or it wasn't true, or whatever. The thing I would say is that now that I think there probably is some truth to this, in the fact that it's starting to look like Jayden Daniels to Washington. I know there's the rumors that he doesn't want to go or whatever, but in May to the Patriots. And so if the Vikings are now starting to go, man, we might not be able to get to those picks. And if the Giants or someone like that could be looking at McCarthy, if we can't get McCarthy, we can't move up for that. What other options do we have? And they could be now going to other teams like the Chargers and saying, what's it going to take for us to get Herbert? They could be just kicking the tires on that. That could easily be something Antonio Brown would hear with people he knows in the league or whatever.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it's even just something like that, where they're like, okay, what are our options if we can't get up high enough to get one of these quarterbacks that we want?
The crazy part,
Penix could go too.
Yeah, the crazy part is just when people. Like I said, when Adam Peters clarified, that it wasn't, and sometimes it's not people's fault if it was reported by Schefter or whoever that it was a group setting and people didn't know better. But as soon as people found out it wasn't a group setting the entire time, that it was a group like setting at the end just to get all the boys together, play a little top golf, which was kind of a cool idea. Like, who would not want to go and do that? Like, if I was entering the NFL and I got to hang out with 5 or 6 of the top overall picks together after you had a meeting, I mean, it'd be cool. I know Jayden Daniels, they're saying Jayden Daniels, and I can understand it, is a little disappointed that, like, he's even not, that other people are being courted. You know, like, it's probably a little bit of a letdown to him that he's not getting the Caleb treatment like Chicago, where they're like, we're just going to bring you in. And so I get it, but at the same time, another person said that, I think it was actually McAfee, that was saying, what if, and this is just a total, like, you know, guess, but he's saying, like, what if this is a compliment? Like saying, what if JD5 goes number 1? We got to be prepared. We can't just assume, because we're at the 2 pick, that we know exactly what's going to happen. So we are going to court other people. And maybe it seemed offensive at a glance, but they brought them in staggered and interviewed them all individually, and then just at the end had a little side thing, you know, where they went and played top golf.
And I think it's a good exercise. If I was in that position, I would like it, because I'd be like, all right, this is my chance to show that, you know, not necessarily that I'm the alpha of the group, but that something like this isn't going to faze me.
Yeah,
you know?
and the other thing too is they haven't made it. When you're drafting number 1, you can telegraph it. And Golf is Life just dropped a $20 hauler, absolute monster. Let me hit that, and then I got to read John's real quick. Yeah, I got to read John's. Hold on 1 second. Let me get to John. I've come to your super chat 1 second.
Alert! Super chat alert! Alert! Super chat alert!
That's my boy. That's my boy. Golf is Life coming in strong with the rocket emojis. So send him to Saturn just for good measure. Thank you, Golf is Life, for dropping that $20 hauler. You're the man, the myth, the legend. And John just said, what if Addison or JJ is thrown into the deal? It's a good question, John, because I think a lot of people have asked that. I've looked at the chat, and I have seen this a couple times. There would be zero intrigue to get rid of JJ. And then acquire a quarterback and he has no one to throw to. You know, if you threw in, like, would I throw in Addison instead of the future first rounder? Probably okay to get it done. Like, if it couldn't get done and someone's like, put Addison in it. I mean, I like Addison, but like to get my future
like Carolina did.
Yeah,
DJ Moore.
Yeah, like if Addison was a requirement and they're going to walk away from the table, I'd put up a fight, right? But I certainly wouldn't I'd let JJ throw. I wouldn't send JJ. No way. But would I put Addison in and then keep the future first rounder to redraft another receiver? Because Addison, you know, is worth the first round wide receiver. Then, like, yeah, I mean, I'd probably do the 11 to 23 and Addison for. And that would be good for the Chargers in a way, you know, because then all of a sudden they can use the 11 on the offensive lineman, 23 on whatever they want, and then McCarthy gets drafted at 5. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Lolo. Thank you, John. Thank you, Golf is Life. What were we talking about, though, Travis? JD5. Oh. Yeah. So. Yeah. So what I was saying was, like, if you're drafting number 1 overall, you have the luxury of whenever you want. You don't need to, and you can obviously use it to your advantage to not tell people who you want, but you have the ability, if you want to make a statement of confidence in your quarterback, like in Caleb, and Chicago's doing this. And I do actually like that Chicago is doing this, even though they picked the wrong guy. I think it's very, very a solid move for the confidence of the player you're taking, letting everybody know you've already decided and you're not afraid to tell everybody. And you're not even looking to up the value of the pick by being coy about it. You're just saying, I'm not trading the pick. We want Caleb. He's our guy. We're taking him no matter what, and we want the whole world to know it so that he knows how confident we are in him. It's a great move if you're at the top of the draft. I think they picked the wrong guy, but you can do that. Anybody below the 1 can't do that. You can't afford to do that. What if Caleb got hurt? Right. Or what if he got arrested tomorrow and something happened and you're like, JD5, you did the same thing at 2. JD5's our guy. Maybe they're doing this to throw people off the scent a little bit and then they're going to trade down to 3. Like, you know, I don't know, you know, like, but the only problem with that,
to leave the room for trade open.
Yeah, the only problem with that though is you were pretty confident that New England wants JD5, but like in that scenario, you could do that if they didn't. Like, let's say they wanted JJM and they thought you were taking JJM, you could be like, I'm gonna bring in, you know, whatever. I don't know. You could throw people off the scent, but at the end of the day, they can't afford to tell JD5, you're our guy, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and it's probably in their advantage to make themselves look a little confused if they believe Chicago is even remotely capable of changing their mind. So they're just trying to make it look a little ambiguous, maybe. And maybe not. Maybe they're just doing their due diligence in case JD5 gets arrested. And he won't because he's a stand-up guy. But if he did, or he got abducted by aliens or something, or he tore his knee and he was out for the year, and they're like, you know what, we can't do this for year 1. They have to dot their I's and cross their T's. And there's JD, they owe JD5 nothing at this point, given they're in the 2 pick, not the 1 pick, to start being loyal to him and not talk to other quarterbacks. You know, once they lock him up, then they have to stay faithful. We get it. But it's crazy to me that we're talking about this as if it's a negative, and his agent was out of pocket to put that stupid, like, I put it in my title for fun, that chin scratching emoji, which I put in the title because of AB's news here. Because that's what you do when you're like, I don't know about this one. So I put that in mine because I am thinking that about AB's report, CTE ESPN. Clearly a confusing and you're unsure about it, right? That's why you do that, scratching. So, like, the fact that his agent's, like, playing games, it's stupid. Like, if you want your client if you want your client to go number 2, why are you going to piss off the Washington Commanders? And I wouldn't be all that shocked if JD5 was pissed at his agent. I'm not saying I know anything about that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked if we heard tomorrow morning that he fired his agent, or he had a talk with him and he comes out and says, I love Washington and I'm fine going there, or something. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. But the bottom line is, why are we hearing all this negativity about JD5? We have no evidence at all that JD5 is mad. Only that Schefter said that he believes, this is where it came from. This is the originating source of why people said JD5 was mad. Was Schefter said that because his agent was upset, he can in turn imagine that JD5 was upset and his agent's upset for him and acting on his behalf because JD5 is like, hey, I don't like this. And so his agent reacted to try and keep his client happy. But that's an assumption that I'm not willing to make because they didn't have separate meetings. Or, I mean, they didn't have a group meeting. They had separate individual meetings. If you're going to be upset that they talked to 3 other quarterbacks on the same day, that's a ridiculous thing to be really upset about. So his agent's out of pocket. And everybody assuming that JD5 doesn't like Washington. I'm not saying there isn't like a little bit of truth to that somewhere. I don't know. I don't know for sure that it's not true. But there's zero evidence that it's true. There's no evidence that it's not true. There's no evidence that it is true. He's asked about it all the time. You know, especially on IG Lives when he's on a live with BT, Brian Thomas Jr., and Malik Neighbors, or if he goes live with Rashad White and Ayuk, the ASU gang. So JD5 goes live with those 3 buddies on one side, or those 2 buddies on one side and the 2 buddies on the other. JD5 is always live, and he's a really likable guy. If you watch one of his live streams on Instagram, he's really likable. He's very positive. He's always smiling. He's never complaining. And anytime people bring up, like, where are you going? You going to Washington? Are you going to the Raiders? He smiles over every one of them. He never once said, like, I don't know about Washington. He's never said anything like that publicly. So I don't know why people come to these conclusions. But Travis, if he doesn't go to Washington, you're going to be on cloud 9 probably.
Yeah, from everything I hear, they claim if Washington passes, the Patriots will be sprinting to the podium to put that pick in. So
Yeah. All right,
I'll
Travis.
be happy with May too, but JD5 would be another level.
All right, my guy. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. Talk to you later, Smitty.
All right,
Bye.
later. All right, guys. That's all I got for today. Thank you for all my super chatters. Golf is Life dropping a 20-watt. John coming in strong. Low. Thomas. Appreciate all those super chats. You guys are legends. And on that note, I'm going to leave you with the JD5 Spider-Man video, if you will. Herbert's outcome if he leaves, amazing. Go to the Minnesota Vikings, top 6-7 quarterback. If he stays in LAC, I don't know. I don't know that he can be a top 10 quarterback. Not with the amount of quarterbacks that are able to produce in the NFL now. There's so many big names, guys like even JD5 could outperform Herbert in year one in Washington versus Herbert in LAC. Can we call in for a simple trade question? Yeah, hit me up right now, bro. Of course you can. Sometimes I give people a little grief. I'm messing with Alpha. Alpha's my boy. He knows I'm just joking with him. He's got a good sense of humor. But like sometimes I'll go live on a topic, and then like right away, when the middle of the breaking news, we'll open the phone lines to talk about some controversial topic, and someone will go, "Yeah, I had a question about my team. Can you grade my team?" And then I just hang up. You know, there's a time and a place. There's a time and a place where you should call in and talk about your selfish team. You know what I'm saying? So call in real quick, bro. Make it fast though. Did Ethan call in a minute ago and then hang up? He might have. He may have. Golf is Life. Appreciate you, my guy. Has anybody seen Vampy? Vampy hasn't been here in a while. Lego Batman, we need to find him to find Vampy. Because how are we going to find one if we can't find our guy Lego Batman who does the finding? Let me get to this. Hold on a second, Theo. 713 caller. Who is this and where are you calling from?
Lego Batman, we need to find Vampy.
What?
How we
Oh, that's me.
Hello?
I don't like it. It sounds like me. Like you're talking like, oh, that is me. Hey, am I calling myself? Who is this? 713 caller. Who is this? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Flame Impala. I'm calling from Austin, Texas. I was going to the chat. I was just wondering.
Flaming what? Flaming who?
Flame Impala.
Okay.
Like Game Impala, but Flame Impala.
Okay. All right, Flaming Paula from Texas. What's up?
In a Superflex, would you rather have DeAndre Swift or Justin Fields? 1-for-1.
It's a little risky to say Fields because he may not ever get the job, but I think he will. So I kind of feel like you should be getting more. I feel like you should be getting. But then again, it's tough to say. Like, here's the deal about Swift, bro. Swift is a tough player to like walking into that situation in Chicago. Number one, he had a great year. He really did, but he dropped off the face of the earth at the end of the year. And I feel like they worked him into the ground, and I'm a little uncertain as to how he's going to perform. After, I think it was week 12, he had like running back 32, running back 37. I think it was like 50-something the next week, 28 the next week, 14 and 39, and then didn't play. Those were like he was probably the worst running back. That was his running back finish. So he was like 30, like 35, 50-something, 28, top 15 in week 16, and then in week 17 he was like 40, and then he didn't play. There's probably no worse running back that was a starter in that time frame other than
Yeah,
maybe
awesome.
Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards was just as bad. He was like 40th, 60th, 17, 18, 20, and 50. So Gus Edwards, James Cook, and Swift were awful in that time frame. James Cook was good. Actually, James Cook was good in weeks 14 and 15. He was running back 3 and running back 2. Then he was 49, 48, 32. And he was kind of garbage the whole beginning part. It was really that week 14 and 15 that made James Cook a good player. He was borderline good, like I think he was number 8 in like week 7, and then he was borderline good in like 2 or 3 other games. But Cook was very, very inefficient. He was outside. James Cook was outside. What was he at? He was outside the top 20 running backs 9 times. But okay, so to answer the question, Swift was really good at the beginning of the year, was awful at the end of the year, and the fact that he was awful the entirety of the second half of the season without really any adjustment to get back on track makes me feel like he broke. Mm-hmm. They overworked him, and now he's going to a Chicago Bears situation that I don't like.
Yeah, I feel like Swift was just bad when the Eagles were bad the whole half of the year. Like, the whole offense is not working. I think they lost to the Giants or something during that stretch. It's just bad.
All right, thank you, Flamin' Paula from Texas.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, later.
All right, see you around.
Theo,
Thank
you're
you very
live.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Dobbins gone and Edwards gone, pretty excited about Keaton Mitchell. Especially since Derrick Henry's pretty injury prone. Maybe you could get a couple boom games next season. But out of the 3 running backs between Chase Brown, Kendre Miller, and Keaton Mitchell, who are you most excited about as like a sleeper running back that has like some potential?
Yeah, that's tough because Keaton's coming back from an ACL tear, and I mean it happened kind of late in the year, right? So I don't know. It's not like he's going to be on track necessarily. I like him, but I don't know if I'm holding out huge hopes of 2024 production, but we'll see. I definitely later in the year I think I could get excited about him. Chase Brown I like a lot, but I don't know that he's kind of intriguing. I think he's got maybe the most upside, but they're definitely going to use Zach Moss. I think you cuff the two together. It's not a bad running back two at all. It's actually really affordable. I'll have a video on something to that tune. Like when we talk about going 0 RB or hero RB especially, Zach Moss is going to come up a ton, and I'll have a video on Zach Moss. Zach Moss will be an attractive cuff to Chase Brown, and then boom. As far, who was the other one? Who was the third one? Kendre. I like him, but we just don't know. We liked him a lot coming out of college, but then there was like, didn't he have like something that came up and he couldn't even work out or something?
Yeah, he had an ACL
almost
2 years ago.
No, there's something else that happened. I want to say it wasn't the medicals that didn't something come up and then he couldn't. Was that Kendre? Am I getting that wrong? Is that?
Yeah, I thought that was ACL.
No, it was. He didn't. He was the one that didn't go to the combine, right?
Yeah, probably because
I think it was him.
ACL.
There was some other scares though. There's something else. It wasn't just the ACL. There's something else. But anyway, Kendre Miller. I don't know. I like him. We liked him a lot coming into the NFL, but I don't want to let him not doing anything make me feel like he can't meet those expectations that we had once for him, because that's the same blueprint of Kyren. I'm not saying he's Kyren at all, but I loved Kyren coming into the NFL. I loved him his rookie year. I did videos on it, and then he got hurt and then never developed. And I predicted he'd take Akers' job and rip it from his kung fu grip, and I was wrong on it. And it's not like I hated him, but I didn't want to double down when I didn't really know why he didn't emerge. Why, of course he couldn't stay healthy, but it wasn't just that. And so part of me was like, I don't know. I didn't like hate Kyren. I didn't avoid Kyren, but I didn't pump him up like I should have. And it's one of my biggest regrets last year is not sticking to my guns about the talent. And Kyren ended up exploding. And unfortunately, I can't say that I called it last year, even though I could say I loved him his rookie year. That's very accurate. But, you know, I wish I could say, hey, damn, I doubled down on it. And look what happened, you know. Kind of like Breece Hall or Bijan. But I want to be careful that I don't underestimate Kendre Miller because I loved him coming into the league. But I would say Chase Brown by a hair because Keaton Mitchell's recovering from an ACL.
All right, cool. I appreciate it.
All right, Theo, later, bro. John, final caller, final question. John, what can I do for you? What do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how are you, Smitty? So I wrote in the chat asking if I could call in regarding if Herbert maybe could go to like a Seattle instead of Minnesota. So would you like personally rather him in Minnesota for fantasy-wise?
Well, the disadvantage that a Seattle would have is they don't have the 11 and 23. So you're talking about that's a much more attractive offer because you get to use that capital right now. And then if there's an additional pick involved, then even harder to imagine, you know, Seattle pulling this off, you know, because they don't have 2 first-round picks. So therefore, you're like trying to convince a team to take a future second, a future first, and then a 16 overall.
But they would probably throw in Geno Smith because the Seattle's really not confident in him.
Yeah, I don't know. Didn't excite me. You also have a lot of quarterbacks. I don't know that Seattle's even looking to that, man. I think worst case scenario, they're trying to land Penix Jr. at 16. If he falls, I don't think he'll fall. But if he did, you could move up a little bit, give up, you know, some sort of pick downstream to move up 16 to get Penix Jr. if you start getting worried. But you guys have like 3 quarterbacks, you know. I think Sam Howell kind of put the nail in the coffin for any other future trade for a quarterback, in my opinion, but you never know. We've seen, I mean, when Russell Wilson landed in Pittsburgh, I think we all thought Pittsburgh wasn't going after Fields, and they did. So, who knows, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I'm an Eagles fan, but I mean, I just read today that they're saying potentially they're going to trade like A.J. Brown to the Patriots for the 3rd pick.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that.
We'll see, bro. A lot of rumors are going to get kicked around in the next couple of days. It's going to get interesting, especially Monday. It's going to get crazy. Maybe even Sunday night. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good day.
All right, later. Call in tomorrow. All right, I am out of here. Thank you all for being here for this fairy tale news report by Antonio Brown. CT ESPN. Break. We need to have a CT ESPN like clip that we play whenever there's news from CT ESPN. Like, according to CT ESPN. Brought to you by Antonio Brown. This news is not officially condoned by the NFL or any regular standard or accepted news outlet. Things you hear might make you feel like you've been trolled. But the crazy part is we've been talking about this exact same thing, like for months and months, trading Minnesota trading. Like, why doesn't Harbaugh just draft JJ McCarthy at 5 because he loves him and he's not blowing smoke, and then give Minnesota the quarterback they need. Give JJ the quarterback he needs when you don't even want to use Herbert to his full potential anyway, and we know that's the truth. If you're a Charger fan, you're blind to it, and I don't blame you. You got goggles on. It's okay. We'll interpret it for you. Harbaugh's not going to use Herbert anywhere near his max capacity and potential. Give him to the Vikings. Let JJ get his quarterback. It is what it is. All right, guys, don't forget I'm live the entirety of the NFL draft and round 1 on day 1. I'll be here for you. You know I'll be here for you. Appreciate you all. On that note, I'll leave you with the JD5 video. Thank you.
There are 2 5s? KD 5? AR 5? There can't be.
Oh no. They're gonna cross streams. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live when big news breaks, and even live when CT ESPN drops a dime on us. See you all soon. Watch the draft with me. I'm live all Thursday. I'll be live on and off all Friday. So join me for the draft. Probably a couple hours beforehand. I'll set a time. Thank you, Golf, for the super chat. You're the man. Thank you, John. Thank you, Lolo. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you guys. Your super chats help keep me doing what I do, and can't thank you enough. The replays help me do what I do. Watch shows. Watch. Get that watch time up. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Unless CT ESPN wakes me up with an alert. Unless Harbaugh signs DJ Chark tonight at midnight. Breaking news: his new wide receiver. I mean, does anybody not see the direction that, like, this has some legs to it? Does anybody not see that Harbaugh's Chark, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Bus? I mean, getting rid of Keenan Allen for nothing. I mean, it almost feels like anybody not anticipating him not taking Neighbors, anybody anticipating him not trading Herbert, is the one that's assuming a lot. I think that person's assuming more than the person assuming Justin Herbert could get traded.
Herbert is the go. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the go. He'll punch you in the throat. Herbert is the go. He'll punch you in the throat.
Take a lap, take a lap, take a lap, take a lap. Take a lap, take a lap, take a lap, take a lap.
Identify yourself. Identify yourself.
Get breached.